Shenanigans.
All right, so our next hot topic is coming from Miss Lizzie Enders. You got Mike Brown Sr. claiming he deserves reparations from Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Is this truth, lies, or shenanigans?
Again, I always get, the duel. So it's truth in that he is making this claim, but it's a bunch of BS and shenanigans. So about a week and a half ago, Black Lives Matter Global Network released all of their earnings from 2020. They had been challenged on numerous occasions to be transparent about the money that was coming in, about the amount of donations that they had received across for the course of the year. So they released their earnings for 2020, and it turns out that in 2020 they earned $90 million. They received $90 million in donations. As a result of that, Mike Brown's father, Mike Brown Sr., as we all know, or maybe you're not familiar, Mike Brown was killed in Ferguson, Missouri, in an incident with a police officer. And that kind of brought attention to nationwide police brutality. And in the aftermath of that, Black Lives Matter was created. And so as a result, once Black Lives Matter Global Network released what their earnings were for 2020, Mike Brown Sr. and some of the political activists in Ferguson, Missouri, demanded that Black Lives Matter give them $20 million for their charitable efforts. So my question to the panel is, does BLM owe them a damn thing? Let's start with Rob B. He looks like he's like,
Robbie always gets the tough racial issues.
Right?
I know.
First.
But let's test the waters with Rob. Let's chum them up a little bit and
Right.
go.
That's funny.
Does Black Lives Matter owe Mike Brown Sr. anything? No, I don't think so. I watched the video, and it didn't really seem like they were looking for anything personally, that the plea was being made on behalf of the citizens of Ferguson. They were looking for infrastructure improvements in their community, which I think is absolutely admirable. And as I did a little bit more digging around, more on Black Lives Matter site, trying to track their finances, where they donate. It's the wording on their website is a little ambiguous when it comes to these things. They talk about, improving awareness and funding groups that oppose police brutality, any racial issues in the community, but there's nothing really cut and dry or clear about how they manage their finances. So I'm glad that that people are asking for more transparency, because $90 million isn't chump change. That's a lot of money. So it would be nice to see that money reallocated to Black communities in need. But to post a video and make a demand, I think, is a little uncouth. It lacks in decorum. If there's a process, follow the process. If there isn't a process for making that ask, then okay, maybe start calling out. But yeah. That's where I'm sitting with this one.
That's a good place to sit. All right, Johnny.
I'm torn because I feel like if somebody's asking and they're genuinely in need, it can come across like they're being greedy. But at the same time, I'm torn because why 20 million to build an outreach community center? And but I think that also we have to understand, like, as far as I don't know the story of Mike Brown Sr. like afterwards. I know that he said there's also the money would also go towards helping their family in the community and to somebody who's incarcerated or people that are incarcerated or something. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't know that it takes $20 million. And then two, why does it have to be? I just feel like confused a little bit because of the allocation of how the money is being, like, where the money is, how it's being dispersed. I don't know. I think I'm just a little confused, and I'm torn because I feel like if somebody really doesn't help, then And there's 10 chapters of the BLM that are asking for help. So if somebody does really need help, or BLM, any whatever it's called, is being non-transparent or not telling you exactly the plans of how they're dispersing back into the communities that made them who they are, then yes, we should be speculating that. But why 20 million? What is the 20 million? That is a lot of money.
So
A lot.
Yeah.
my thoughts are I don't know that it needs to go to his family. I'm okay with the
Yeah.
outreach center, and I'm okay with using it for programs to deal with issues in the community, in the Black community, or where communities have been affected by the riots and things like that. I'm okay with that, but definitely not necessarily to the family. I know they've gone through a lot, but they need to be addressing that issue, their financial issues with the police that killed him. That's where Black Lives Matter is a movement
The state.
beyond just individual individual families and issues. I mean, it needs to be $90 million is not chump change, but for a large organization, it's also not a whole lot of money either.
That's true.
So, to accomplish all of the goals that Black Lives Matter may or may not have, it's going to cost money and time and resources, and I think that money needs to go back into what they're doing, and as long as they're again being transparent about it, I'm okay with not giving it to Mike Brown's family for sure.
Didn't they
So
get help
here's
before? Like, did they not get money before for that
so
whole scenario?
that's what I was about to touch on, Gianni. So one, I am all for um, organizations being held accountable, being transparent, and showing where their donations are going, showing how much money they're getting, making sure that we are not paying for, if I donate to you, that I'm not paying for your new Lamborghini or Tesla, that I'm not paying, just paying for, your new house, on South Beach or what have you. And so that's why I don't mind the fact that people were calling for BLM to be accountable, to show us your books, let us know where this money is going. And as a result, they were like, okay, this is what we have. For 2020, we got $90 million. However, this announcement from Mike Brown's family makes it seem as if they're saying, if not for Mike Brown, BLM owes us because Mike Brown died in Ferguson. And as a result, your organization should be thankful for us, which could not be farther from the truth. First of all, Mike Brown died in 2014. BLM was started in 2013 as the result of the acquittal of George Zimmerman over the murder of Trayvon Martin. One has really nothing to do with the other if you follow what Mike Brown Sr. is saying. But if you add on to that, we're talking $90 million for 2020 in a year where we had the murder of George Floyd, the murder of Breonna Taylor, the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. That's why in 2020, BLM elevated its presence, and people were like, you know what? Social justice, we have to do something. So if Ferguson and Mike Brown Sr. really wanted to solicit money for their cause in Missouri, why are you just now saying something in 2021? Where was all that pushback before? And according to BLM, and I don't know if this is true or not, but according to BLM, because they did pose a response to the demand, they're like, we haven't heard anything from Mike Brown Sr. and the Ferguson Community Organization.
So they just went public with it.
Exactly. So it's just like you guys immediately went to blow this up to make it seem like we're doing something wrong when we haven't even had a conversation yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a bad thing when you're attacking your advocates.
Horrible. Yeah, that's horrible.
And you know what? A charitable organization is a charitable organization. They make no promises.
Yeah.
about where they're going to give their money.
Yeah.
Now they should, but where is Trayvon Martin's parents asking for their $20 million?
Mm-hmm.
Where's George Floyd's parents? Where's Breonna Taylor's
Black
parents?
Lives Matter would have no money left to do anything.
So yeah, this is not the way to deal with this. This is not the way to go.
No,
so that's what concerned me. That's what concerned me about this.
I get to these comments online. So Jacqueline Robinson, they sounded like MLK's children who have been shamefully attempting to monetize their father's speeches, etc. Just stop it. Kevin Thaxton said no. Olivia says BLM owes somebody, maybe not him, but the money should be flowing back somewhere. All right.
But how do we know it isn't? And let me tell you, another issue that has come up, and this is a problem within the Black community, another issue that has come up when BLM opened the books, it showed that a lot of money has gone into organizations that support the trans community, the LGBTQ community. And a lot of Black folks are having a problem with that. And I'm just like, well, how do you have a problem with that when the three original founders of BLM, 3 Black women, 2 of whom who identify as queer?
Yeah, that's true.
So of course, and there has been a lot of violence against transgenders by police officers, by people in the community over the past few years. So why would you think that they would not want to put their money into efforts to preventing that? Like there's so much going on with this issue, but again, the conversation needs to be made or had before you take it to the media, before you blow it up, on Twitter and the Associated Press and all that stuff.
All right, so real quick, this will be the last comment. So where does QAnon money go? Proud Boys, Klan money, why attack Black Lives Matter? And it looks like JT Garner joined us at Nice Family. Thank you all for having me on the show. All right.
Thanks, JT.
Glad you got to.
All right. Nice hot topic, Lizzie. Thank you.
Lies, shenanigans.